Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
So it goes, and yes, that song is trending big time as well. Big shouts going out to Black Hole, and that even raises a conversation about what we're going to be discussing this morning on the show. It's going to be a bit of a heated one as we get insights into this. Very important. Now, listen, you know, when you walk into when you see a product, you can put equal value on the product, you know, based on either what material has gone into it, the cost of the material that has gone into it, and then based on that, you can see pricing, and then there's taxes and all those things on it. However, we want to try and bring this conversation into our space as well. Two big things we're going to be discussing this morning is on placing costs of engaging, let's say, a talent. What exactly goes into the charges that you'd hear of. Some are very high, some are quite affordable, some are quite low. At the same time as well, we'll also look at the either they say the over-exaggerated itemized list of an artist's need before he or she is engaged at for a performance, or hence we call the rider. We've taken time to go through some riders of some artists. We'll try and keep the names off here, but of some riders of some artists, and you look at some of the things in there, and you ask yourself whether they are necessary because you want to keep the artist's mental health at a certain point to offer you the value that you deserve or you seek, or they are overly exaggerated. This morning we have gentlemen and a lady join us in the conversation. Lenny's here with us as well. Let me say, honorable.
It's me in the language.
Honorable Duduzi is here. Honorable, good morning. Good morning. Going out to you. Yes. Honorable, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
At this point, everybody this you.
Like you want to say, but he's checking like.
At
why?
this point there, for the next 34 years. 34 years. Yeah. Oh, my son.
I don't need to introduce him there. Robert, good morning to you, man.
Morning.
We know we'll be entering this on Wednesday though, but let's say kudos to you on piecing this event together, the Ghana Dance Industry Awards. Okay. Hence the Gadi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Part of the logo, so you sell the name eventually, then we run with it.
I don't want to digress too much because Wednesday we'll go into this, but what has been the support to it like? You know, because I'm saying support because you say awards, when it's going there, it's like the people who are supposed to be part of the awards, everybody's doing some way, like we don't want it, but we want it to be.
But those things are usually normal, and you just you need to find a way to court the community. So you have to have your end goal in mind, and then use that as a basis for how you actually strategize all the way through to the very end.
Yeah.
But I must say that the community, basically, they've been waiting for this for a long time, and so they sort of want it.
Yeah.
No, not sort of. They want it. They need it. It must happen for them. They are 100% throwing in their supports. The various groups that we have. Because I do the dance festival, I engage with thousands of dancers.
Yeah, we want to see it in the shot so you can push it closer to you. Yeah.
In the shot,
it revolves. Yeah. It's the first ever revolving award we have in Ghana. Yes. Yeah. Aside there, also the first ever.
Is it going to come with a revolver as well? I mean, on the night when you give out the award.
So somebody was like, let them take the awards, and then if anybody wants to buy the revolver,
I know we might say they might tweet off with it.
It looks really good.
But it's going to be a very competitive awards. I mean, right now we have the dance culture inside there.
Yeah. So it's actually we'll have those conversations.
Yeah,
it's heavily based on honorary people who have actually contributed, because we are starting. There are quite a number of folks that you need to be able to acknowledge and their works that have brought us to this particular point. And then you build up, and we have different divisions from the Afro-Latin community to street dance. We have praise dance, we have traditional, we have the contemporary world, we have quite a number of them. So you want to be able to dig deep.
Okay.
There are excellent dancers who don't have popularity, and then there are some who are popular and they have influence, and you wanted to just create the balance and all of that and bring them together, and then we have the extras in terms of
hold it there, because Wednesday we'll have this conversation. We'll dig deeper into it. But I like this. You've also mentioned something very important that we are going to talk about this morning. So we're already in a suffering industry with regards to when you want to piece an experience together, and all the revolving parts, from the logistics to and even you mention logistics, sometimes people forget that you have to also go and rent genset. It looks like there's one major genset provider in this country. I don't know whether there's no other competition in there, but I'd be like, if we go there, if we find money for enter that place, get some something KVB.
I don't want mentioning name.
You know, mentioning name.
Be the provider.
Be the provider.
Wow.
I don't know anybody else where they provide genset services like that. I mean, people do, but
big events, they seem to be the only.
Oh, that's interesting.
Those, but
it's also because they've built relationship over the period of time. For all the vendors.
It's literally word of mouth that directs you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily. I don't think they are the only ones.
They are not the only ones.
Because I know there are multiple folks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if there are multiple events happening?
But you usually would also engage the same person. Most of us have engaged the same person.
Because they always deliver.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's about
so they're market leaders.
You could say
I think that's our biggest problem in Ghana.
So we jump on one person and then we just stay on that person for a long time.
I know the conversation, if I don't take time, we're not go with what I want to discuss. But it's another space that we have to look at, like how we are constantly using the same people, if they're overburdened or not. But I mean, they've gained the experience, so hey, why not? I mean, we all go this thing.
Boy, you don't get that, man.
I don't understand.
You go that place.
You go if you need
you go out.
You need the event center, you go the same place. Now, considering all these revolving parts that you need to actually make this event happen, already, Nakasa, we're advocating for government to subsidize or clear taxes on importation of logistics when it comes to events, and we have had all those things. But another major revolving part of the experience is the talent, which ultimately you need to engage the audience. Forget the light, forget the stage. You set all those things up, you need a talent. And we're talking artists. Now, I'm sure all of us in here, one way or the other, have engaged and booked artists and tried to put costs to what their figures are. I did a bit of a check in other industries, especially in the Americans, and realized that there are ranges in terms of the artist and what you should expect to pay for certain kinds of events. And some went as far as over $1 million USD, and then you had the hundreds. And it's quite interesting that these they're not official, but they are industry narratives. Then it piqued my interest to ask if we have such in our space, and what necessarily should an artist put into consideration before he or she mentions a price for an event. Recently, there was a certain alleged floating conversation on a certain Ghanaian artist that had billed 140,000 Ghana cedis for to perform at an event. And I saw on the socials and the comments that were on there. I don't know if I should put names. Anyways,
once you say it's out there, then put it out so we can.
I think it was Paluta also. I don't know if it's true or false, but it was on various blogs. So I don't know. I didn't see on his timeline, so I can't speak to it. But if it were true, it's alleged that there was about 140,000 Ghana cedi request for an event, and then I think it said that Mr. Drew also took that same event for I think 60K or so. Now the question comes, and I saw a lot of conversations on there, some in favor of the justifying that Paluta deserves any amount of money that he wishes to put out there, and then some saying that look, it's a turnaround on Paluta if maybe Drew took something less. I don't know that two had engaged in any way or took some less and something like that. But then the big question comes in. So if I'm an artist, I want to charge for an event, what should go into my pricing to make it justified to the event organizer? And this is something that I wish industry heads like us would be able to understand, so we can advise and then also speak from the talent's point of view of creating a timeless product, or a product that is very difficult to put cost on, but we might put cost on it because at the end of the day, it's a product. We can't say it is of no value or it is. So what should the artist, or what goes into an artist's pricing for me to confidently say that you are requesting for Jay to come and perform at, and I can use artists that we have been causing a lot of havoc, for want of a better expression, in the industry. Our top artists. Why have we been calling them top? Because maybe experience more songs in the library and all. Bull, I want to hear from you on this subject matter, and I know it's turned into a very heated conversation right now because I have a few reservations, but I want to hear your opinions on this across board.
Okay, so I think to start with, the artists should give value for what they are charging for. Value. That
word, they can't break them down, but you enter.
So if you're asking 3 Music television or network to pay you 100,000 cedis for you to make an appearance on their awards, you should be able to sell tickets to that magnitude. Yes. That's value.
Should it be your responsibility to be able to help sell that ticket to them?
But that is why they are putting you on it. That you have that value for people to patronize the event. You understand? That is the whole idea, because it is business. And I'm sure if your business people were here, Eddie is here, I'm sure he would be saying what I'm saying, because before you go out and then
so but this value, is it performance skill on stage? Okay. Because I've seen Ghanaian artists that can perform very well, but we don't really care about that. Is it the library of songs the artist has? Because based on the library of songs, the artist can stand on stage for a certain number of times. But even in that, you ask yourself, will the person sing the songs rightly for me to be able to entertain my audience? Is it the artist being male or female? Is it gender biased? What is that value that we are asking for? That is what I want to enter.
Okay, so all of the above that you've mentioned plays part of the value. That I have a repertoire. I'm a good performer. I'm a crowd puller. All that comes to bear for whoever is considering you for an event. Because obviously, if you sat down, let's say the next awards, before you mention a Paluta or a Drew, you, the planning team, know the value that these people will bring. Yeah. Because you not just wake up and just mention anybody and say, oh, I want them on the show. The planning committee knows that, okay, when we bring a Drew, he'll bring some sort of excitement.
So does it mean that the artist has got a right to place any amount of money?
Not necessarily. That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily. So the management of the artist, right, should know that Mr. Drew has this value. Kim Paluta has this value. Stonebwoy has this value.
What has been some of the what has been some of the going rates in your space? I don't know names mentioned, but going rates in your space with artist engagements.
Artist engagements.
Ghanaian artist engagements.
You can go from 2,000 to Ghana cedis.
No, that's too generic.
No. I'm just all the way to
300K.
Yeah, you can.
That's the range.
2,000 cedis.
Yes. 2,000 cedis. Yes, based on your level.
Who are you paying 2,000 cedis?
Oh no, but come on, there are upcoming acts. All right, there are people who. In fact, there are people who even do it for free because they need a platform. They are trying to build up. All right. And then eventually you have those who have paid their dues already. They have all the elements you're looking for.
Do Ghanaian artists charge excessively or undercharge?
Excessive is dependent, or it has to be contextual. So there are certain projects that comes with a lot of cash. It makes sense. There are certain projects that don't come. So event types informs even how much you should charge, especially if you really want to be on it. There are programs that will call you, it's just a party, all right? And then they want you. So you have to determine whether your brand is willing to associate at a particular level, yes or no. And then, obviously for a party that may not necessarily be for the high and mighty, the values you're looking for is smaller. But for the high and mighty, they can even afford whatever a particular concert is paying for. You get what I'm saying? So you basically, price discrimination has to be an element of your practice. So you understand, assess exactly what you're going into, and that becomes the basis for which.
But is that even healthy? I mean, you see, we say it as though we make it sound very easy and like, yeah, that's what. But we know behind the scenes there's a lot of. Charlie, can you believe I called artist A and he said it would take me this amount of money?
You see, Jay, when that thing happens, I think that.
Sorry, you called for what? You called per person for a stadium show. You're looking to put 20,000 people in the place. You're charging 500 cedis per person. The person does a calculation and they see the numbers.
Good. So should the artist charge because of what you are billing? You see, that's where I want to enter. Should the artist charge? And today I'm just maybe on the fence for the organizer.
Yeah, no.
Should the artist charge that I'm doing an event? And I thank you for that precedence you just set. I'm doing an event at a stadium. You call me that's a stadium event. And you know.
Yes, I call you that's a stadium event. The question is, are you calling me to be a supporting act? Am I the headline act? Am I the one calling the shot? How many hours am I supposed to perform? If I am the main reason why people are coming, then it's a different conversation. If I am not the main reason why people are coming. So for example, if you do an award show, let me use our example. You know, most of the time, the reason why people come to the show is not necessarily because of one act. It is because of the entire experience. So obviously, the same goes for you when you're talking about 3 music awards as well. So when you take a typical Ghana Music Award show, it is not because of one act. So then the conversation is different. But if you have a concert and somebody is headlining it, you understand, when the person is the main pull factor, and the person on their own probably can deliver even more numbers. The way the conversation they'll have with you is quite different. So the dynamics are not the same. And so we need to take everything on case-by-case basis. And there are shows you literally go, even if the numbers are there, you would want to still do it for free.
If to bring some small clarity to what So as an event organizer,
yes,
you need to know what you want from the artist. I have sat in meetings where we say, we want this artist A to come and do one song.
Yeah.
And this is what we are willing to offer.
That's it.
We know you have 1,000 songs, but on that night, we want you to do that song.
That's all.
So
I strongly believe that also because we mentioned case by case basis and we mentioned underground artists and then up and coming artists and then well established artists, I think that charges from artists are very perspective based, right, and heavily value based, because an underground artist can want to charge and then an established artist will say to you that based on the relationship that I have with you, I'm not going to take anything. I think that is value based, and it's okay if that underground artist, you don't look at it as even the established artist has decided not to charge me, so how dare you as an underground artist want to charge me or charge me.
That's where I'm coming to. Over the Christmas, let me just be blunt. Over the Christmas period, a certain financial company reached out to me to help reach certain artists for their end of year performance party, and quite a number of artists I reached out to pegged the figures at extremely high rates. So I was asking myself that what really is going into this costing? Is it because of who is calling you, what you are being called for, or there's something that goes into your craft that makes you want to put it at these figures?
Everything.
But when we put it and say that everything is
so there are levels to this. The first thing is who's calling,
because you see, based on that
informs your charges.
No, they're watching it itself for a billing pay for it's different from the one that itself for it's legal.
If political party called an artist because of the very volatile terrain of politics, you can understand that me standing on your platform
introduced a dynamic.
Me standing on your platform. But beyond politics, name something else that is supposed to alter the dynamics of.
If you are doing a corporate event, it's different. If you are doing a concert,
an engagement,
it's different. If you are doing an event, it's different. If you are doing an out-of-town event, it is different. If you are doing an award show, it is different.
Isn't this now coming back to bite us, to affect the number of engagements that some of these talents are now going to be getting because of these prices? That haven't we had conversations in house? And that's I'm coming from you as a commercial person's point of view. Conversations in house where you are now being forced to alter the experience because of the cost of this one unit in there.
Let me try and establish something, and then we just build up from there. Okay. There's a perceived value of an artist. There's an actual value. Now, the perceived value, let me limit that to your own perception about yourself in terms of what you are worth, which informs the kind of pricing you give. And then there's an actual value, and I'm saying actual, even though there's nothing like actual because there's no fact, because it's all about perception, really. There's a value that people place on you based on what they have seen from the outside. So for the purposes of this conversation, I'll call it actual value. So perceived and then actual value. So me, I think say I'll be Michael Jackson. You say you are Jackson without the Michael something. So that informs. But ultimately, there is a concept of value. I want to break down the value so that we just have that conversation in that particular space. Record, your record that you have, or the records that you have. What is the value of the record? The value is broken down into two: the brand value and then your product value. So your products that you have, your records that you have, what is the value? Are people jamming to it? Are people responding to it? Is it a song that you just like? Does it kick? Then the number of songs you yourself you have. So if I put you on stage, am I expecting 1 hour? I'm expecting after 2 songs there are no hit tracks again, and so everybody goes to sleep. Then the performance value. Are you coming with an act? Are you just coming to make us sleep? Or when you step on stage, yaga yo, hey, you carry us from one level to another. You understand what I'm saying? No, I mean everybody knows Amini is a performer. Everybody knows there's way two ways. Or the numbers you have on social media. Maybe I'm looking for some mileage, digital wise. And from the onset, the moment I add you, I know I'm getting something. Or even your on ground, like what's the pull factor? Because some people have numbers on social media, but you don't see it corresponding when it comes to the on ground pull factor. Because you can have 10,000, but when you do an event, you have only 10 people. So what's the point? They don't match. So you need to be clear. So that if I'm putting you on an event at a stadium, am I sure I'm going to get the numbers? So you want to be able to get that. Then maybe achievements that you have, accolades, whatsoever. Those elements speak to your brand value. And then your national dominance in terms of, like, when you take a typical Ochiame Kwame, his brand, forget about the songs. Those songs, yes, they form, but the brand value itself is high. You understand what I'm saying? So for certain projects, we are doing corporate and stuff. When Ochiame Kwame comes, that brand is respected, appreciated, it's at a particular level. And so you want to look at all of, and then your artistic or entertainment value, put everything together if you want. But all I'm saying is that when you put these elements together, it helps you decipher who deserves to get what, or the metrics that event organizers will probably use in informing the kind of figures to give you.
You see, there's an industry that we've created. But a certain element in the industry seems to, if the person is going to charge based on the things you said, would not be able to even fit into the industry. Because, Eddie, based on what he's saying, you approach a brand for sponsorship. And you need to raise about 3 million, 4 million Ghana cedis to pull off an award show you're trying to. Why? Because certain elements in there are the pricing. You can't, because when you create your itemized bill, Kojopoku can tell you that lights is costing this, because that is how much. When I do my calculations on my import and all those things, this is how much it will cost me. If you want to rent sound from Frankie, and and his skill and all those things, he will give you a breakdown. But you notice that one of your major cost elements in there is you want 4 artists. If I can be very blunt, you want a Stone Boy, you want a Shatta, you want a Sack to come and jump in there for you, these 3 brands. You piece them together, I'm not talking anything less than $1 million Ghana cedis alone for them. You understand? Yeah. But when you are trying to negotiate, you don't go to Frankie to go and negotiate. You don't go to Kojopoku to go and negotiate. You go to the artist to go and negotiate. Why? Because you feel their space, there's a possibility of a conversation on the amount.
Yeah, I think
they can have a convo with you, but the question is that because the industry doesn't have standard rates or average rates for artists, and they are all these things you've mentioned, everybody is like the voice of our space. Everybody in your own.
Do you know why?
At very unregulated space.
Do you know why that is? Sorry, just before you go. Do you know why that is? This space is run by artists, not industry players.
It's an artist-led industry.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
if it were record labels, it would have been a different conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you see, Jay, I also don't think that.
And I noticed how it was crippling. It was crippling the industry with cost. But speak to that.
I think whatever we've said from the beginning of the discussion applies. I think everybody is right. For me, the other part also has to do with soft skills. We're in a country where people are likely to look down on soft skills. Not just from musicians, from even graphic designers. Somebody might not understand why a graphic designer charge you 10,000 because I say, oh, for mouse and all, So a lot of time, people don't put so much value on soft skills. That's not to say that, these artists are not charging their right value. And that is where I side with Robert heavily on the fact that it is case-by-case studies. So for me, for an artist to be able to come up with their rate card, you need to understand where you are, where you want to be, and how that fits into your strategy. So I think maybe we should make it practical. And I know Boo has had a lot of practical experiences. I've equally had a lot of practical experiences. I worked with an artist at a point, and when I joined his team, there was no rate card. Because at every point, it's either, he's being overpriced or he's undercharging. Because he didn't know where he wanted to be at that time. But at the time that we were working with him, we realized that, there was no solid industry relationships because he was not reaching out to industry. And you know that when it comes to event organizations, industry like, radio stations, TV stations, execs like ourselves are major players when it comes to event organizations. I've seen industry players organize events for chiefs in certain towns and all of those things because these people see them as, authorities in the industry and they have relationship. So depending on where you want to go, you establish your rate card. So we came to a point that we established that, okay, for a TV station, it is zero for us. If we can get an amount of money that can take care of our fuel, our costume for the day, we are ready to play. All I'm trying to say is that you need to establish your strategy for where you want to go.
Has this unregulated, space caused any form of unfairness in terms of the number of people can experience the artists and all of that to our industry? I don't know, but there's been a series of events that have happened that I've seen, and it has raised this conversation about how much do we charge and the charge. Is it considerable in any way? Because what I'm getting from you three is it is right to put almost any bill to it based on my.
I think we can't talk about charge. We can't talk about charge without talking about terms of engagement, and I think that's what Bulldog mentioned.
Yes.
Once the terms of engagement is spelled out clearly, then we can start making justification.
Or maybe some industry regulations where you say that if you're an A-list artist, you have to charge X amount if you are a B-list. But that will not be possible. That's impossible.
Yes,
that's why
talking about
it's
regulations.
perspective based.
This is what I think. I think that as event organizers, we have failed to be creative.
Yeah.
And that is why, and that is why at a certain point you realize that they are top 3, top 2, and they are there for the next 20 years. Because they started from some top bottom, right? Before they climbed up. And when they got up there, we all overused them. We created them, and now when they got there, we didn't create anybody again. So we are failing to be creative. You are worried that, the next 3 music awards, if I don't bring a Stoneboy, I don't bring a Shatawale, I don't bring a Sako, Charlie, the place could be slow. One of the things you guys did, and I mean the guy at the film be Kweku Smoke. I've been listening to him, right? Until Stoneboy's album dropped, I was listening to the only album I was listening the whole year was Kweku Smoke's album. Now I'm listening to him and Stoneboy. So I'm saying that we can always create another Stoneboy, we can always create another Kweku Smoke, and that's what we need to do. Because you see, when I'm coming to an event like yours, right? I'm not coming, there are types of events. I'm not coming because the guy is hot. I want to see something. It's an experience. We fail to give that experience. So if you see your show as some street carnival, then that's when you by force go pay some neck-breaking money. But it's an experience. So you can pick somebody who has quality vocal, right? And now they don't even have to have a song. And they can sing a Kojo entry, they can sing a Daddy Lumba, they can sing it's the experience you give the people there.
Yeah.
Until we get to that level of thinking,
Bulgod, because you speak on experiences, right? In recent
Yes.
times, there's been a rise in performances, and I think that
A
what
rise?
yeah,
In performances?
in performances, in cubicle performances, if I should say, where, like you said, they are not big artists, but they are really good vocalists, they are really good performers. And what I find with that is building a certain crop of artists that are better performing than recording artists, right? Legit. And I think that that's a good thing, right? But also in going through this line of building artists in different aspects, what do you think that event organizers can do? Also because you say that we are not being creative, right? Because I think building a new generation of creatives depends on the people in the industry. So for example, I'm going to use Sarkodie as an example, holding the hand of one that he has identified as, oh, this person is the next in line when it comes to rap. I'm going to help build this person, or I'm going to help build these 10 people. The onus doesn't lie on the event organizers or industry players as much as it lies on the talents themselves. Do you understand? So I feel like if you identify the talents, you
thank
have
you for
to
saying
build
this,
them, build them
and
up.
that's
So you
the
don't leave
honesty
it.
that
You
I
don't
want
leave it
us
there.
to raise. That there's a certain. I feel like we are sugarcoating the people a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
see
the questions.
all five of us in this room.
What questions? What
I'm
do you
coming.
want to address?
All five of us in this room.
We'll get to that part too.
All five of us in this room have one way or the other and been either hurt by this billing. And I'm not saying that nobody's craft should be undermined in any way, but of course we work in a certain ecosystem. I understand that if I'm in Ghana, I understand the number of persons that I know I might need to fill the stadium with the things I may need to do, because the culture of maybe concert going is there's still opportunity in there. It hasn't been milled yet as compared to maybe some places where you hear 20 million people are gathered at some place. You know, we are still growing. There's opportunity. That's why you see people trending in the space, going into the space of concerts, event, music concerts, and all those things. And then as part of the parts you need to make your event happen, talent is a great conversation. And I'm quite surprised that we know all of us in here have faced one or two talents who, because of pricing, I mean, you sit in a space where you deal with this artist every single day, if not almost. Yes. Where when they leave them, when they give you the job, the task, and they didn't know this, they give a task of Charlie. We didn't need when they come to the show, so it be for call them. Your first phone call, you know, is Charlie, bro. Yeah, you know, we can do some events. And why are you doing that? Because you know that the person's punch to you is going to start from a certain place. That's you would your first. Let me even add to it. Your first explanation will be, Charlie, the stage, the events, the venue and things, the cost plenty. So
help me.
Yeah.
So if you go that route,
you go that would be disrespect.
Thank you.
Yes.
You have disrespected your own self to start with.
Who, the organizer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why would you call and be begging?
But hasn't that been there?
No, but I'm saying,
hasn't that been the
do you know why you are begging?
Yeah.
Because you have not contributed to the growth of the artist.
Yeah.
There are business. Listen, like she said rightly, they are top. Stonebwoy still they play free show.
Yeah.
Shatta still does that. Sarkodie still does it.
Yeah.
But who are they playing it for? Oh no,
Yeah.
You understand?
Bottom line,
So if you go to well, how are you going? You need to go with value. Your argument or whatever you are going to ask for, you have to go and place value. You understand? So I sat in a meeting years back with Charterhouse, yes, and they wanted Shatawale at the time to come and do just dance.
There's a message for you with regards to that. Well, coincidentally, he said 2 years ago, God mentioned that most of the figures Wale was mentioning wasn't realistic, feasible. They were doing it for branding purposes.
Hey, I forgot. You know, and Charterhouse wanted us to do Dance Hawking, just that song. You know, and that was our first time on their stage at the time. Yeah. We turned it down. And they were paying a lot of money at the time just for that song. Now, unfortunately for us, there are a lot of dynamics that didn't play right, because then the artist had his own history with Charterhouse. You know, I was with Charterhouse at the time.
Yeah.
Right? And I was trying to let the artists understand that, listen, getting on this platform will elevate what we're doing or certify us to the next level. They didn't understand that. Back and forth, we couldn't do it. And we lost that. And the money was good at the time. The money was good. We didn't do it. That night, gradually we won whatever we were going to win. So my point is that when Charterhouse was coming, they came with value. They didn't just come begging.
So event organizers don't bring certain...
That's it.
Yeah.
Listen, so if you call an artist and you say, oh, I want you on this platform, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. This is what you've planned everything already, right? Because it is your event, it's not theirs. Now, they also have something they want to do. Once you work together, you come to some sort of a conclusion. You say, okay, listen, this, that, I'll take off, that. You remember that this is a value conversation.
Yeah.
Then you now, it will only be left with the money aspect. You realize that it's not so much.
How then that comes back to what Lenny is saying about how to create new experiences. What again then is left? How does a platform create value for itself to go match up a conversation with a grade
artist.
A artist?
You guys have done that already with your award scheme. You've changed the perception of awards. Look at what you
don't need a big guy.
Good. You look at what you did with Blacko, even before Blacko's time. Look at what you guys were doing with the whole medical. What you did. You know what I'm saying? So,
but even with the event space, if you've seen a new trend, right now, even the smaller spaces are paying much more for artists, like the lounges, because there's a bottle service that is going to allow him to sell, and they are paying heavy commercial fees for these artists. So I think it's about the booker. You, the artist, should look at the booker. In which category does the booker fall in? If the booker is a fully commercial conversation, you can have it. But there are certain bookers that you can't enter commercial conversations.
And again, what he just said is different from what you are saying.
I know. And sorry,
let me just highlight quickly. What he's saying adds to the fact that the minimum threshold being accepted by artists has changed. Because if you are getting a lot of bookings from all of these folks and they're able to sell, then what it means is that we now have a particular threshold that serves as a minimum. So when you have artists calling for some figures, it's because if you're not willing to pay, others are willing to pay.
Not necessarily. That's why I said that you need to look at the booker and look at the category that they fall in. I get that.
What I'm saying is that once you mention that a lot of the lounges are paying, then it means that they are receiving X amount of...
Sure, they are making revenue as well.
It's coming through. But I think that the conversation about if the question is about why are artists charging the kind of rates they are charging, the reasons are a lot.
And but it's neither here or there to start with.
And one of the key reasons we need to understand is that these guys travel £2,000, for example, $2,000 by folks who are supposed to be their comrades, so to say. After a while in this country, depreciation will make you pay more, and it's not because it's their fault. It's like I'm paying you $2,000, and at some point it was 5 cedi to $1. Right now it is 14 or 15 cedis.
Economic conditions.
Exactly. So the person if the person pegs it just like the hotels do. If the person pegs it at $2,000, then automatically realize that the value has increased. So the key point here is that you always have to negotiate and explain to them why I'm willing to pay.
Have Ghanaian talents been unified and deliberately or intentional supportive to any particular platform to grow those platforms?
Yes.
Namely.
Oh, their own platforms. Their own platforms. They don't charge themselves when they
and let me also say this. You see, so really, what are the revenue streams available for an artist? In Ghana, I think shows are number one. If you had monies coming in from, let's say,
sales, publishing,
and sales and stuff like that, the conversation would have been different.
Exactly.
Because when Asha Raymond went to do the Super Bowl, you could see the impact on the streaming platforms. Huge. And so immediately you can translate that to cash. Okay, so I did this show for free. It gave me this publicity, and within the period of 1 month, I'm making X amount of money
on my streams.
Yeah.
And then when the streams come in, then you also have publishing, because it's always the two. Because mechanical rights, the publishing element also comes through.
Akila, you take the thing, you advance the thing. He's talking about Ghana. And
also, I think
so what we get be what we forgive.
And we work with the events, right? Because that's the highest paying stuff.
Can we also consider the bookers and also the venues, the kind of venues that we have here as well. And that also doesn't make it commercially viable for any event within the space.
You are now coming to what I'm talking about.
Somebody made I saw a post about the fact that no event organizer has broken even in this space before.
Yes.
I can attest to it.
No, facts.
It is 100%
Facts,
right.
Yes.
So I think we also
and you
need
can
to look
negotiate
at
all the. You will not negotiate.
If you speak
the
to
stage sound lights guy,
your boss,
you will only negotiate talent
tell you.
conversation.
Yeah.
And why are you negotiating talent conversation? Because you've come to realize that the pricing there is
it's a soft skill. So we feel like
it's a soft skill. You need a certain justification to it. And over the period, I'm realizing that because of this thing, you know what's happening now? Event organizers are now gradually shifting away from engaging artists to now DJ rave conversations. It's getting to that.
But listen, the DJs are artists.
Even, no, they are talents. I know. Let me correct it. The DJs,
they are artists as well.
So
we are there here.
The DJs are also
too many things wrong in this space.
But Jay, DJs are also now realizing that because they are the ones that are leading the shows now, they are also charging higher.
Thank you.
So do you see what is happening now?
No.
Because of an unregulated space, now anybody now
no space is regulated.
It's difficult to regulate.
To have demand and supply elements directing the costs of the things that we do.
Look, if I'm going when you go to, let's say, and I'm going to borrow your analogy. When you go to New York, and you're trying to get a black T-shirt, there are various shops you can get.
Yes.
So
your black.
Thank you. When you go Louis V, and there you go Gap.
Yes.
So nobody go come tell you anything.
Yes.
Our problem here, and I keep saying, we keep going to the same people because we are lazy. When you keep going to the same person, it means that you don't have anything else to offer.
Alternatives.
So if I'm there and I know that I'm like I'm a sacco there and I know say this year DFA
but Duke, how about the fact that when these things are driven by the audience preferences, where the organizer is saying that this is basically based on what my audience wants to see.
And then that one there your head go pay you.
Yeah.
That is not when you started 3 music awards or Ghana Music Awards, you didn't start based on giving audience whatever. You started, you had a mind, you had a mindset. Right? You wanted to create an experience. You didn't say, they can't do Ghana Music Awards, so you tell me who you want to see. No! You go kill yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You want to present an experience. You do it in the way or the best way you can afford. And you should keep that notion in your head throughout the even 20, 30 years.
To try and present an experience that hasn't been experienced before would cost you money.
Yes.
A lot of money.
Yes. Or why do you want to center only on the artist block?
That's what I'm saying. That. So that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. But when it comes to negotiation, you didn't go negotiate with Koyobuku.
So you negotiate.
But I don't say we negotiate. No, I don't say
why they negotiate with the artist.
No. Negotiate why? Exactly. Why are you negotiating with the artist? Because you feel say
we negotiate with everybody. We negotiate with everybody.
You have to negotiate.
Are you saying they are okay with all the figures they give you?
Who?
From the sound, all of the
don't take it out of context. You know what I'm talking about.
We don't know what you're talking about.
If I go to, let's say, book Grand Arena, and they give me bill, no matter how much I go negotiate, that negotiation, will come half the price.
Yeah.
Yes, because it be logistic conversation, you did there, boom.
And that one you don't understand because it's also tangible.
What? I think
because it's tangible, you they get them because if you break them down, because electricity will cost you this will cost you this will cost you this.
And people will prefer that than creatives charging a certain amount because they think that it's not tangible enough. They can't put a cost to it or they can't hold on to it and say, I don't understand why this person is charging me X and Y for their creativity, which should not be the case.
Because the industry hasn't got, we don't have things like
regulate
it.
So Jake, so tell me something. If you go book every artist where they won't even pay commercial fee, don't you go with something in mind? And now all this, like let's say artist A, artist B, we don't want to pay commercial, we want to do honorariums. I'm not sure the honorariums will be the same.
Yeah, it will be different.
You go with, let's say if somebody is playing for free, his honorarium, clearly you go peg him at where he has positioned his brand.
Yes.
Where he mentioned the perceived pricing, and that's what you go work with.
Yes. Do you have an idea how much it will cost you if you want to engage like any of these top assets that we speak of? out of respect, they do deserve any amount of money that they want to charge, because they put in a lot of work. You know, from awards to the category, the library of music they have, energy, on the stage performance, the numbers they pull, and all these things. However, the conversation is: should there be a certain industry cap to these conversations?
No.
Or it is left at
individual.
There shouldn't be a
service provider. Individual.
You are an artist yourself. You are a top MC. So if I go bring, look, I cannot compare. And no disrespect to my brother portfolio.
Okay.
You know, in the space.
Yeah.
You start to do this thing. You start to do MC work.
Even that is even hype manship. It's even hype manship. So you can't exactly even compare the two.
I'm just saying these days, whether you
let's say we can't compare J to KKD. Let's use that.
Exactly. Let me
yes.
Good.
Because that is on the same level of MC.
Does it mean that if a KKD is engaged, he has the right to, let's say, bill, hey, I want to, maybe he's needed to MC your wedding, okay? And then you engage a KKD. It's a wedding. Yes. Once we understand that maybe these are certain social events, there's a certain range that we work within.
No.
Shouldn't be the case.
No. You have the right to charge whatever. You also have the right not to pay.
Yes, and then you go for what your money can pay for.
So
you shouldn't do that.
You wanted to move from Abelinkpe to Jowulu, and then there were 3 cars, and you chose.
I understand.
You chose to ignore the Opel.
I understand. It's valid.
And went for the Lambo.
Yes.
You rent Lambo.
And you want to pay the amount of the Opel for the Lambo.
I understand that. However, I asked for range conversations, and I asked of some of these unregulated figures and its impact back on people like you and I, who tend to want to create platforms to accommodate and to host and to entertain for all those things.
What is regulated in Ghana? Tell me what is regulated in Ghana.
So that's the question I'm posing to ask.
If you want to flip the
should
thing,
we look at, because you see, for example, in countries now, I'm coming in other foreign countries where you have in the US and where there are ratings for artists based on their wealth, based on their streams, based on certain physical things that you can tell. You can use. It is understandable that if you went to a Jay-Z and the team told you are paying $5 million, you understand that there are certain things that
there's an era where there were a lot of international artists coming into this space. It was purely based on relationships.
Let me say this.
When they're coming here, they'll be the way.
Nobody on the street of New York will pay $200 on a regular to even watch Jay-Z. They'll pay less, $50. Now I'm saying this because the place is structured. No more. You know, the whole system will not be saying be just the music space. The whole Ghana is not structured. Why do you want to structure the music space?
Why is Telecel has got great news for new customers. 50% bonus in their data, in addition to mind-blowing offers. Existing customers will receive 300% bonus data as well on every broadband renewal. So we're encouraging you to subscribe to Telecel fixed broadband for these amazing offers. Dial star 900 or go to telecel.com.gh and get connected today. As well as also on Betway is telling you that, hey, if you've been placing those bets and you have a multi slip and then one just messes up for you, well, the Bet Saver, as the name suggests, feature can let you also get your bets back and more. It is exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. I'm still quite surprised that we.
Let me say what I think you should say, but you haven't saying.
Okay, say it to me.
I like that.
It's a tough industry for event organizers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Event organizers is an event organizer is a massive factory of producing events.
Yes.
And when I say massive factory, there are so many things
Moving
that we have
parts,
to rent. And because we have to rent a lot of things, the cost component that goes into a single event is very high. If artists outprice themselves, then we will be forced to do 2 things: either not go with you or not organize the event at all. Because for most event organizers, you pay every component. So you pay the person who's going to do your voiceover, the person who's going to produce the stuff, the TV, radio stations that are going to promote the stuff, the runner, everything, the up and down, the venue, light, stage, all the communities. And then you produce an event. By the time you finish producing an event, you, the event organizer, you have to take faith.
As shared on Nabil's page recently.
Take faith and hope to the gates, hoping that you'll be able to get it. If you don't have sponsorship,
GRA today watching,
and then you have a 21% going to GRA. If you don't have sponsorship, then at the end of the day, all the costs rest on you, and you need to be able to make sense out of it.
Yes.
All we are saying, or all you want to say that you haven't said, is that regardless of what your perceived value is, understand and appreciate the dynamics of the industry, especially because there's no cushion for event organizers, so that your pricing can make sense for us to continually do some form of more events, so that instead of you having one event in a year, I can probably do 3, multiple. And then by the 3, obviously you can take a piece of that and that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what you want to say.
You're talking for Jaden.
I beg. No, he just spoke for the event artist. The event
organizer.
Is that what you want to say?
No, so wait. Let me also break. You see all the things you outlined.
Wait, I want to say what Buddha is saying.
The same things you outlined. The artist goes through the same thing.
Wait.
Like what?
Like what?
Recording I want him to respond.
Recording no be cheap. If you want quality, it no be cheap now to record.
The microphone, you need to produce the microphone.
Is that what you want to say?
The plugins, you need to produce the
plugins. Check the cost of what an artist they take record. Unless it's on artists they go extreme. Now and they give they dump my heart to them. The artists they go extreme. Stonebroker mentioned say when they mixing songs and things. They cost them money and things. Equally to the Footy Look problem. Productions where they can plenty.
What I said is that what you want to say? Is that what
plenty? No, I that's what's like. Sorry, it slipped my thoughts. If I
the problem is we are failing to see the artist as an entity,
as a product, right?
Dude, no, not a product. Product you limit. They be at the top. You limit them. Entity.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
when you see a Shatawale or you see a Stoneball, you see they are like 3 music. They be big.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of branches.
And I tell you this. Look, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when I say tomorrow, when a lot of these top shots that we've not worked with are no longer in the space, maybe we'll tell some of our stories. And we will trace it to people like maybe you who failed to pay well for us to be paid well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't come sit and say the artists they charge anyhow.
and then also I think that if we are able to empower other talents that we identify, then we will be able to have like
options.
Shared value.
You know why you know do
Why?
Why? It's been when you start this job.
Yeah.
You have you.
So let me now speak from an event person.
Yes.
Yeah, I have done that.
Yes.
I mean, consistently, if you check my record, I've been raising new acts.
Yes.
Yeah, and reviving.
And then disappointed by them.
Yes. And deck talents. No problem. That's my cross to bear.
Yeah.
And when you come to my platform, when we did Bass Awards, you should go and check how many artists that people didn't know. Yes, we engaged. Tomorrow when we resume Bass Awards, we'll do same.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that unless
you know why you stopped.
Because you understand. Listen, definitely the space. Because I'm not doing it again because I'm not getting funding to do it.
Okay.
Corporate Ghana is not helping. You understand? I'm not getting sponsorship. I can't keep using my money to do it. Now he spoke about something and he said he categorized it as soft talent.
Yeah.
Right.
Soft skills.
Soft skills. I disagree with soft. It's still hard. Anything you think about, bro, not be small thing.
But unfortunately, where we find ourselves,
I get you. The reason why we know the move for here be say we feel say San Mukwa tele, tele stage. That's our problem. But thinking is hard, bro.
Yes.
I don't sleep from 3 a.m. I'm thinking.
And then after that, you do the 16 hours.
When I'm putting out, tell me something. Maybe when I'm putting out the communication, it's not to undermine any artist's value or what they price or what they charge. However, the question is, should we have certain ranges with regards to a very proper industry structured space, so that even they, the artists, can work their skill justified to what they ask for? And I didn't put any cost to it. So if I call a sack and he mentions $1 million Ghana cedis, for a stage a stadium concert, it is well understood that if I'm going for such an artist, a certain cap I should expect. You can't even do your budget as an event organizer properly because you know the engagement of one element. And I'll say it again and again. There are companies, but that element is very difficult to put cost to. And you have faced it, Eddie, countless times. So I'm surprised you are here telling me that you faced several times when you are supposed to go into convos with don't do stadium. You're about to do this event. We would have conversations around, on the artists and their
so what's your ultimate goal?
So
you want artists?
Should we have certain
MTN and Telecel and all those people to show how to
Yes, they can actually give you a breakdown of this thing. But anyway, we'll leave it here. We'll leave it here. We'll back another time on this conversation. Maybe a clear understanding. But I do understand that.
I want to come back on that same
I'm taking this last word to say that the gentlemen in this room, off air, when we go off, we speak heavily about how they've been crippled.
I take exception to this. Yeah, I do.
I can get there too before we go off.
Yeah, maybe he's on his own.
Some artists do the charge nonsense price. Some artists do the charge nonsense price. Where they know they deserve it. That's what you want here. And if you want to add to mention names, you can mention names.
We are leaving now. I'll tell you something. We're back again on Big Conversation and have an amazing February start off. Thank you.
Culture Daily was brought to you by Telecel.